Hello students, I'm Komal Mishra and today I will be teaching algorithm and flowchart. This chapter is lesson number 3 for class 8 and this from exam point of view and from programming point of view means your next chapter, that is lesson 4 programming language. These are dependent on each other. So first of all, you have to learn how to create algorithm and flowchart, and then I will tell you how to do programming with it. Okay. So first of all, let's see. This is part 1 video. In the next part, I will be sharing some examples, some questions, how to write algorithm and how to draw flowchart for the same. This is part 1. So let us see what all we will be covering in part 1. That is, we will be covering what are algorithms, their use, flowcharts, their use, and I will be telling you by giving one example. I will be telling how we have to write an algorithm, what are the rules of writing algorithm, and how to draw flowchart for it. So first of all, before starting, let's see that what an algorithm is by seeing this video.
If we want the computer to understand how to do something, we need to give it a name. Algorithm is something that behavior is dictated. Actually, an algorithm is something very simple, but to us, an algorithm is a list of steps we give to computers to solve or get something done. Actually, you need to show something, but you should take some behavior to do themselves. You need to explain what steps you do in order to so make understand how to do it and everything else. Instructions will be like this. We do it in this. 2, and then do this on the touch. 3, take the rest of the flow, which you want. 6, smile. To explain red steps in the pattern, so you can get results.
So now in this video, we have seen that what is an algorithm. So with this video, I think you have brought a picture in your mind that what an algorithm is. It is a step-by-step instruction which we give to a computer. Like here we have seen that if we want a computer, if we want to brush our teeth, then in that case how we can give computer instructions and how we can feed that instruction so that whenever we will ask the this robot to brush our teeth, how it will follow the instructions. So it is step-by-step instruction, but we have to give it in correct order. Means we have to give the instruction like that first bring toothbrush, then apply toothpaste on that, then brush it, then rinse your mouth, then just dry your face with a towel. So in this case, we have to give the instruction. And if the instructions are given in right order, then you will get the right output also. So this is actually what algorithm does. Whenever we are getting any program, to write, so first of all, we have to create an algorithm that what input, how many inputs we will take, what will be the input, what process we will do with that input, how we and with that process where we will store the output. So we have to make a proper planning in a step-by-step order. Okay, so first how to take an input, how to process that input, how to generate output from the inputs. So this is actually what an algorithm is doing. So now coming to the topic, algorithm is a step-by-step solution to a problem. Now here problem can be, in your video the problem was how to brush your teeth. Okay, how to brush the user's teeth. So we have given the problem. First we have given step-by-step instruction. We have seen that yes, by the instructions which we have given, by that the teeth were brushed properly and they were clean. Then we have made it in a step-by-step order, right order, and we have feed it in a form of program into the computer's memory. So whenever we will tell the computer to make your teeth brush, so the computer will follow those instructions from step 1 to step 6, and you will get the same result every time you will call for that particular problem. Okay, understood? So it is a step-by-step solution to a problem. Okay, so whatever algorithm is a finite, means it should be, and it should not be endless step, means your step should end somewhere. We cannot say from step 1 it is going to and it's not ending up. So it's a finite step-by-step procedure to achieve the required result. So here the result was that we got the teeth were properly brushed. Okay, so we got the result. This means the steps which we have given to the computer, the first, second, third, fourth step, the step which we have given to the computer were correct, and now we can feed into the computer through program, and whenever we will run that program, we will get the result. We will get that particular result or output. Set of rules or instructions for carrying out calculations either by hand or machine. Okay, so actually we can utilize these algorithms like how to prepare tea for yourself. So step 1 is like we give steps, that if I will ask that how you prepare how to prepare a cup of tea, so you will give me the steps. First step 1 we will start, then step 2 we will take the pan, then second we will take third step will be to take water, boil it, put tea leaves in that. The next step will be put the required amount of milk, sugar, and wait till that mixture boils it up, then filter it up, and then serve it and have it. These will be the steps by which we will achieve the result. But if I will, so this can be either by hand, any type of calculation which we have to do by hand or by machine. Okay, so whatever type of calculations we have to do, these are the set of rules which we are giving, that pehle ye karo, after that do this thing, after that do this thing. Okay, then next is characteristics of algorithm. Now what your algorithm should have? First of all, 0 or more quantity that are externally supplied. Means you can give 0, input can be 0 also. Suppose we don't want to give any input, we want to just want to print, give any a program which doesn't need any input, just we want to get some output of that, okay, without giving any input. So we can have 0 input, but algorithm should provide some output. The algorithm should be such that whether it is taking input or not, but output it should give. Then only we will be able to realize whether the algorithm which we have made is correct or not. Then every instruction should be clear. It should terminate after finite number of steps. And lastly, steps must be sufficiently simple and basic. Means it should be such that if I will give that algorithm to someone else to understand that what I am trying to achieve, what task that this task I am trying to obtain result for this task, then that person should also understand that what I am trying to do. Okay, so these all things should be there in my algorithm. Okay, next is what you have to keep in mind. Algorithm is not a computer program. Algorithm is not at all a computer program. It's a blueprint of making that particular program. Like for constructing a building, first we prepare a blueprint that where the garden will be, where rooms will be there, where hall will be there. In the same way, step by step, we are preparing a blueprint of that particular program, that these will be the input, this can be the process, and this output we will get. Now sometimes it can happen that the algorithm which you have made, on that algorithm, if you have made any program, it may run and it may not run. Okay, so in that case, we have to change our algorithm. It means that the algorithm which we have made is not correct or is not in proper order, or some or the other step is missing in that. So we have to create that algorithm once again, and then we have to create program. Okay, so this thing happens till the time you doesn't get the desired output. Once you got the desired output, once you have got the output, then it means that the algorithm on the basis of which you have made that program, this was actually the correct algorithm. Okay, so it is a procedure written as pseudocode or English language type description. Means it doesn't have any programming words in that. No programming word should be there. Like for every program, for taking input, for taking output, for doing processes, different types of keywords are used. Here you will not use any keywords. Here you will not use any programming term. Here you have to use simple English language. Then provide information about what calculations are to be performed and in which flow. Means you have to give an order. It should be not like that you are showing the process in the first step, then you are showing the input, and then you are showing the output, or you are showing the output first, then you are showing the input, then you are showing the process. So the flow should be clear. Means you have to start your algorithm by providing the inputs, then you have to move to the process, then you have to move to the your output. Okay, then only you will achieve the output, or you should write your output there. So it should be in proper order, and it should be, we have to actually, with the steps, we will understand that in which flow our program will go. Next is flow chart. Now whatever we have made in our algorithm, whatever we have written in our algorithm, we are just making it into a picture. Here you can see, it's visible that here we are with the uses of blocks, lines, we are showing whatever we have written in that particular algorithm. Now why we are doing it? We are doing it because we know that the pictorial representation of anything is far better in terms of understanding if we are comparing it with textual representation. Means pictorial thing will be understood more. Means suppose if you have read any book, and the same, for that same book, if you have seen that movie on that same book, so that movie you will remember, so you will remember that movie you will understand that movie, or you will understand that book in much better way, because that was a pictorial representation. So in the same way, there are many big algorithms which are made. So we are making those algorithms, we are converting that algorithms into a picture, so that the person it's not a waste of time for the person to read that whole algorithm and understand it. With that flow chart, the person can understand the program and can move further. So now in this flow chart, we are making certain symbols. We are using certain symbols like for start and end. For start and end, we are using oval shape. Okay. Then for arrows, these are showing the flow of lines, the flow in which the program is going from up to the end. Then for taking input or for showing the output, we are using a parallelogram. This is a parallelogram. We are using a parallelogram. Then for showing any process, means for the calculation, whatever calculation we are doing in our program, for showing the process, we are using rectangle. And for decision, if you want to give any, there is a decision thing where the answer is either yes or no. Okay, like if A is greater than 0. So in that case, such type of statements, if there are such type of statements, these statements will come under decision box, where we have to take the decision that if the answer is yes, then what will be the output, and if answer is no, then what will be the output. So these are the 5 main symbols which you have to learn and which you have to remember. That for starting or ending the flowchart, you will use oval. For arrows, you will be using, for showing the flow of the program, you will be showing line with arrow. For showing input and output, you will be showing parallelogram. For showing any type of process, you will be showing it on a rectangle. And for showing any sort of decision, you will be showing it on a diamond shape. Next is, what are the uses of flowchart, why we are using it. First thing is, are generally drawn in the early stages of formulating computer solutions. Means when we are in a planning, when we are having a planning of making a program or making a software, then in that case, first we are starting it by designing. So the designing part, in that designing part, actually algorithm and flowcharts are coming. So first we are designing an algorithm. On the basis of that algorithm, we are creating a flowchart. And then after that, on the basis of that algorithm and flowchart, by understanding it, the programmer is creating a program for that. So this is created first of all in the early stages. It is a communication between programmer and business people. Means the programmer knows that what is written in the algorithm. Programmer knows it very well because they know the programming, or the person who is there to make the program, they know what they have written. But the non-programmers doesn't know that what is written in that. They just, whatever you will make them understand from the picture, they will understand that thing only, that if this is your requirement will be fulfilled from here. Okay, so in this way you can communicate, you can tell this is a communication, but the way of communication between programmer and business people. Flow charts play a vital role in the programming of a problem and are quite helpful in understanding the logic of complicated and lengthy problems. Once the flow chart is drawn, it becomes easy to write the program. Means from that flow chart, like I have told you earlier, that in the designing part, first we start by making algorithm, then we move to flow chart, and then to make that program understand that what we want, we give that flow chart to the programmer, and the programmer creates a software programming for that. Often we see how flowcharts are helpful in explaining the program to others. Suppose I have made a program. Now I cannot explain that program to a non-programmer. That person will not understand what we mean by input, how we are taking it. They are not at all bothered about that. They want their requirements to be fulfilled. So how you have fulfilled your requirement, you can tell it by using a flowchart. Hence, it is correct to say that a flowchart is must for the better documentation of a complex program. Now, how to write an algorithm? Here I have given, suppose the algorithm, here we are just taking small algorithms. How to add two numbers? Now see, for adding two numbers, first of all, you have to make a thing in your mind that for adding two numbers, what you want. First of all, you want two numbers. You want two numbers. So here you have taken A and B as two numbers. Okay. Afterwards, whatever value you will take in A and B, that will be dependent upon the user. So A value can be 10 also, A value and B value can be anything. A value and B value can be anything depending upon the user. Okay. So whatever value will be there, when they will be added, they will be stored under some other variable. Now these variables are the memory blocks inside the computer, like this is A. So when we will declare A, that the first number which we will enter, it will come under A. So whatever will be coming under A will be stored in the name of A memory block. Okay. And whatever second number you will be taking, it will be stored under B memory block. Now, whatever the both numbers, suppose we have taken under A, we have taken 10 and under B, we have taken 20. So, whatever number will be there in A, that is suppose for me as a user, A will be 10. So, that 10 plus 20 will become 30. And this 30 value will go and will be getting saved under the variable sum. Now here you can take any variable. Here I have taken A and B. You can take PQR, any variable, but the name should be proper and that name should be used everywhere. Like here I have used A and B. So here I have plus A plus B. I cannot take like here I have written read the value of A and B and here I am writing sum equals to P plus Q. This will be wrong. This will be totally wrong. So whatever variable we have used, with that same variable, whatever input variables we have used, we have to, for process also, we have to use those variables only and we have to, now here like it is taken sum. It is taken sum for the convenience of the person to understand that whatever A plus B, in sum we have stored the total of A and B. Here you can take S also. You can take ADD, add also. It's upon the user wish. It's upon you. Here you can take C also. C equals to A plus B. It will be correct. It will be correct. So read the value first of all. For taking the input, read the value of A and B. Then we will take sum equals to A plus B. Means whatever the value user has put in A and B. Now this is for sure that the first value will be going under A and second value will be going under B. So whatever value user has put, you have to add that value. Plus sign is there, operator plus is there. You have to add it and you have to store it under sum. After that, whatever the value is, you have to display it so that we will come to know with the output whether it is showing the correct output or not. Like 10 and 20, the output should be 30. So we have to display 30 on the screen. The 30 should be displayed on the screen. Then only the person will be able to realize whether this algorithm which was written was correct or not. Here I am talking about program. That when you will write the program and you will generate the output, I'm talking about that time. Here this is just a blueprint that two values you have to take, two variables you have to take, you have to add them. Whatever the value will come will be stored under sum and you have to then display that value and stop. So here you have seen. So first point will be start. Here the first will be start. Here they have shown first will be start. Then second will be read the value of A and B. Then third will be sum equals to A plus B. Fourth will be display sum. And fifth will be stop. Here they have not started the algorithm with start. So I hope that you will remember that you have to start the algorithm with start. First point will be start and last point will be stop. In between that you have to write your algorithm. So here I have started the algorithm. Here you can see I have written start in an oval shape, as told earlier that flowchart start and stop should be in oval shape. Here they have written end. You can write stop also. Here you can see end is written here. Here you can write stop also. Then input and output has to be displayed in parallelogram. So input A and B or read A and B. You can write it here, like here we have written start. The start we have written in the oval. Then read the value of A and B. Here you can write read A and B. Then sum equals to A plus B. Here you can write C is equals to A plus B or sum equals to A plus B. Anything you can write. I have made it differently so that to tell you that you can take any variable for it. But the thing is, the whole variables, the variables which you are taking in that particular algorithm or that you are taking while making a flow chart, that should be same. Like not like here I have taken C, so I have displayed C. But if in case I will take here sum, so I will write here sum. If I will take here P and Q, then I have to write C is equals to P plus Q, display C. So I hope it is clear now. First is the start box, that is oval box. Then the second step is to take the input or to read the input. So here you can take input A and B or read A and B. Then next is process box, which is a rectangle box. So here I have written C is equals to A plus B. C is equals to A plus B. Then next will be display C or print C. Okay, display C or print C. That is the output. This is our output box. So that's why we have taken it as parallelogram. And lastly, it will be a stop box. That is a oval box. So this algorithm, this should here we have written the algorithm and here we have written the flow chart. So for every algorithm, we will make the flow chart. Clear? Now, in my next video, I hope I made you clear what an algorithm and flowchart is. Now, how to write algorithm for the given problems and how to make a flowchart, that I will be telling you in my next part of the video. So first of all, understand this part and go through the chapter. There are some algorithms and flowcharts done in the book. By the time you are not seeing my part 2 video, don't go through it. First of all, read the chapter, read the theoretical part, what an algorithm is, what a flowchart is. And here I have shared one example with you. Try to understand it. Then I will be sharing part 2 video of this where we will be discussing some problems. There you will understand there we will practice how to write an algorithm and how we will draw flow chart of that. Hope with this video it is clear what an algorithm and what a flow chart is. Thank you so much.